Oh, shit. I was trying to make it dramatic, but I don't think any of this is gonna work. Okay, go for
it. This year I'm co-editor-in-chief of the Wildcat Tribune.
I am the editor-in-chief, or co-editor-in-chief I should say, along with Eva.
I'm the web editor-in-chief.
I'm the managing editor for the Wildcat Tribune.
I basically oversee everything with Sneha and other people in our exec board like Mahika and Lauren.
And it's different for everyone. I would say we sort of have less responsibilities on paper, which allows us to take more up just on our own. So for me, I'd say beyond the normal things of like grading pitches, grading rough drafts, just kind of hanging out during page design nights and helping people who have questions, I sort of like to corral the beats writers. So a beat is like a sustained story commitment. So the person who covers the dance team or the choir or band, I'd say I'm like the main sort of ringleader of them. I'm the people who make sure they're writing stories for their beat every issue.
So basically I run the website. I feel like that's self-explanatory.
I mostly assist the editors-in-chief, and I help out with page design, layout, and help writers with their stories. I pretty much am just always working behind the scenes to help out anybody whenever they need it.
Well, because the Wildcat Tribune is really cool, and there are a lot of stories that we write that are really important and that are also really nuanced and that go into like the intricacies of our local neighborhood too. And I think there are a lot of cool perspectives, and if you go behind the scenes of our newspaper production, you can really see how much effort and time that we put into each article, into each graphic and podcast and video, and I think all of that is worth checking out.
Well, one, it's just getting to know, your community. Like, if you're a Doherty student, then you'll meet other Doherty people, or even just outside of Doherty, like in San Ramon or like even the Greater Bay Area. Like, we're one of the few newspapers in the entire city of San Ramon, right? And that's pretty cool. And even like beyond San Ramon, like we've had analytics and comments from people from like Oregon, which is very insane. So it's like, it's not that our like work is like super specific or like childish, or it's like serious journalism. And I think it's very cool to recognize that there are, we're kids and we're putting out work that's being like cited in someone's college level report. So I feel like that's pretty cool. You can flex that you're from the school that produces the Tribune.
The world we live in is so nuanced, and truth can be really hard to find, and because also, I'm gonna re-record that again. Take 3. And I think that's really important, especially in a world where everything is really nuanced and you can't just simplify things into a one-sided narrative.
Journalism, I feel like, is the whole basis of like why people know things, and knowing things is so important to making informed decisions and to having conversations that actually like change our community. And not every bit of journalism is like life-changing, like I've written an article about my favorite TikTok songs. So it's not like everything is super serious, but it's just a way to like have an outlet and to let out your emotions, whether they be through reporting on like a news story that's like controversial, or to like spreading an opinion that you feel like people don't talk about enough. And it's just a way to connect with people around you while also making sure that our community is growing.
Okay, well, the Tribune is not boring at all. If you join journalism and you're in our production cycle class, you can see like the entire room is like buzzing with energy and with like voices, and everyone has so many ideas that we just all throw out there, and we like take risks, and there's a lot of food in here, so like that really fuels the energy. And I think there's just a lot more energy behind the scenes of the Tribune that I think most people don't think about.
Oh gosh, I feel like most people don't know we exist. Until that conservative story from last year, I feel like most people were just kind of like iffy about us, but now I think people think either we're too controversial or they think that we're like actually willing to share opinions that aren't like everyone's favorite one and we're willing to take risks. So hopefully it's one of the two, but if it's that you don't know who we are, well hopefully this will make you know who we are. But yeah, I think people either like us or don't like us.
I think a lot of people, maybe my friends, would say like, oh, you guys don't get any readers, like no one even reads your stuff. And I feel like a lot of staffers think that too, and it's actually not true. I think a lot of our articles have up like more than 50 views. Like that's average, I'd say, for us is like 60 to 100. So I'd say I think more people are reading our work than we realize and than other people realize too.
Well, I definitely think that a lot of people don't really understand what the Wildcat Tribune does. I feel like a lot of people might mix us up with yearbook at times. And so I think that they might just be like, oh, I'm not really a fan of reading the news, but in reality, in addition to news, you know, we have reviews for arts and entertainment and really interesting personal opinion stories, and all of our sports coverage and multimedia. There's just so many facets of the Wildcat Tribune that we have, and I think a lot of people just maybe aren't too aware of all those different aspects of the school that we cover.
I feel really, really lucky to have joined journalism my freshman year because it has taught me every useful skill that I know, everything from interviewing and knowing how to talk to people and writing well and being curious and questioning things and listening to people's stories. It's been life-changing.
I think journalism has impacted me to the extent that like I don't know what I would do with my time if I wasn't here. Like I don't even know because I'd just be a completely different person. Like it takes up so much time and so much like mental energy, and I feel like my confidence and my ability to kind of cold call and speak to people has changed so much that like without journalism I just wouldn't be able to recognize myself.
I think journalism has pretty much helped me improve like all life skills really that I have, not only my writing skills but also being able to communicate with others, leadership skills too I feel like has been huge, and learning how to be more of a people person and just being able to have good conversations and collaborate. I feel like journalism has really helped me in a lot more ways than I thought it would.
I'd say my favorite part of journalism is the people, because everyone here is so inspiring and everyone's so passionate and energetic and just really, really, really dedicated to their work. And everyone here, and especially Miss Decker, is like one of the best parts of journalism. I think everyone can agree. She's like our second mom at school. And also the snack cabinet is really nice.
I think my favorite part of like journalism and just being a journalist is looking at like the physical copy of the paper and like seeing all the hard work like come to fruition, and also even more than that, watching other people that aren't in the Tribune read the paper. I just feel like it's so cool that like we're actually making an impact on people, and like when people come up to me and they're like, oh wow, I really like this article of yours, or like I thought this was like a super cool like front cover or something, it makes me feel like really glad that all of our hard work is like, you know, is making a change. So that's my favorite part.
When I've been thinking about like what I want to be when I grow up, I'm like, do I want to be a journalist? I don't know. But to sort of figure that out, I'm thinking like, what about journalism do I not tread? Like when am I not like, oh, okay, I have to do this now. And the one thing that I've never felt was a chore, because I love every aspect of it, but sometimes after like 4 years, it becomes a bit of a chore. But one thing that has just always been really special to me is interviewing. I love like going to teachers especially, or like district people, anyone, and just trying to figure out their expertise and like crafting my angle and all of that. I just really, really love doing interviews. So I would say interacting with my community, getting to know the things that people are so passionate about, because I've written a lot of articles about like education. So I've interviewed English teachers for an op about our English curriculum. I interviewed district officials for a news piece on like learning gaps caused by the pandemic, and it was just so special to see these like experts and the people who are shaping my life as a student so directly, to see them really in their element and talking about things they care about. I thought that was really special, and I'm excited for every single interview I do.
Okay, well, I have multiple goals in journalism. One is to tell people stories, because journalism is stories at its core. Like, even if it's a straight news story or more, it's always about people's stories. And I really want to tell people stories that you never really get to hear. Another one is that I want to write about the environment, because I like science communication. And then the third one is an in-class goal, which is just that I want to help everyone in journalism reach their full potential, and I just want to do that in any way possible.
I don't know if I should say this, but my goal for this year has been to be controversial, which I don't mean in like a terrible, non-ethical way. I just mean, I feel like as a high schooler, it's sort of, you get very worked up about things and you write opinions pieces, and a lot of them are just opinions everyone agrees with, which I'm not a big fan of. I feel like you have to rock the boat a little bit, say something that's disagreeable. So that's my goal in journalism, is to encourage people to sort of find their own voice and their own opinion and push the envelope a little bit. Not to be unethical or like truly controversial, just to be brave enough to share an unpopular opinion. My aspirations are very much award focused, which I don't think is the mindset that a journalist should have. But I am very much a sucker for like that Best of Show plaque. I really want a Best of Show this year, which is like the national award, but I'll settle for a Lesher award, which is our county. I get a lot of joy out of beating our local police. Anyway, but for me personally in journalism, I think I just want to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit and write about articles that are, I don't know, I have 3 years of experience under my belt, and I want my work to look like it, if that makes sense.
I would say that my biggest goals in journalism are to just improve not only my writing, but sort of my leadership skills, I would say. I think that's a big goal from journalism, is just learning how to sort of manage the background aspects of our paper, which I'm trying to do in my current position, as well as building those good relationships with the other people in our class that we have, and definitely help with my organization too, because I always have to stay on top of deadlines in this class. It's really helped me improve my time management.
I love cross country and track and field. They keep me insane. They keep me sane. I love doing cross country and track and field. They really keep me sane by letting me be insane sometimes. I also really like creative writing.
Ooh, I listen to music. There's like very few moments where you will see me without my AirPods in. I listen to like my music taste is a little all over the place at times. Like, it goes from like soft pop, right, like Conan Gray vibes, and then it switches over to Taylor Swift, who is like our entire journalism like icon. Like, she is who we live for. And then it randomly moves over to like 21 Pilots and Youngblood. So there is that. I also love reading books. I read like 60 something books over my junior year, which was like not healthy, but you know, I did it, and we're here now. I actually have been reading a lot of murder mysteries lately, and it's very terrifying because now I can't go to sleep. So don't do that. That's my recommendation. I also like spending time with, you know, my sister, because senior, right? So I'm gonna leave her next year, and that's sad, but I do hang out with her on occasion when she's not being annoying.
I mean, it's pretty all-consuming, I'll be honest, not much. But I like to crochet. I haven't in a bit, but I go through phases. So that's been a thing in my life for a while. I play the piano very consistently. Like since I was like 2 years old, I've been involved in piano. Like my sister would go and I would just like play with the truck in the waiting room, and then when I was old enough, basically as soon as I was old enough, I started playing. And I'm not good, like I'm not a good piano player, but it's just fun. I enjoy it. I watch a lot of reality television. I'd say that has been incorporated into my brand in the past year, is that I like watching reality TV shows. Like The Circle finale was the biggest event in my life for like a month.
Well, I really love art. I enjoy drawing, painting, and even some graphic design. I'd say that's a big hobby of mine that I have. I just love spending time with my friends and my dog. I'm a huge dog person, and yeah, I would say just like that. I just love maybe staying in and reading or watching a good TV show too.
I have a fun fact prepared for this. I consider myself a tofu enthusiast because I don't have the commitment to be a tofu connoisseur. Yeah, I'm obsessed with tofu. I'm also obsessed with Zootopia and the Lorax.
I don't have very many fun facts. I feel like I'm not a fun person. What's a fun fact about me? What do I know how to... Oh, this is really stressful. When I was in 3rd grade on the last day of school, my foot slipped on the bathroom floor because it was really wet, and I fell face first into the tub, and then my front 2 teeth got chipped, so I had to get them filled on the last day of school. That was painful. And my lip got like cut. So there's my fun fact. I have 2 filled teeth because I fell in the bathroom on the last day of 3rd grade.
Well, I would say an interesting fact about myself is that I really love spending time outdoors in sort of interesting ways that you don't really do in the Bay Area. Like, I love fishing and I love going on hikes. Even though a lot of times I'm like really lazy and want to stay indoors, I definitely have had a lot of those opportunities to do those outdoorsy activities with my family, especially on vacations. So I would say that that's something I like to enjoy that a lot of people don't know about me.